we want to take a look at configuring IPAM. On the left-hand side of the screen, we want to expand IPAM. And in the console, we can see that we have 6 tabs. The first one we're going to use to connect to the IPAM server. So we want to click on Connect to IPAM Server. Then we're going to choose the server that's going to be our IPAM server by clicking on the server. In this case, it's Tester 2012 R2. Then we're going to click OK. Before we click OK, note that if the server is not available, we would have to close the dialog box and add the server to the pool of servers from the Manage console. Click on OK. Our next step is to provision the IPAM server. So we're going to click on Provision the IPAM server. And in this screen, before you begin, there are some things that you need to know about IPAM. IPAM provides a centralized management. So it's a central place from which we will be able to monitor and audit everything about our DHCP servers. We're also able to manage our DNS servers, the network policy servers, and Active Directory domain controller. When we go through the wizard, you will see that we'll be able to choose whether or not we want IPAM to be managed by these servers. We want to click on Next. And on this screen, we have an opportunity to choose a database. You can either choose the Windows internal database, or if you have a Microsoft SQL server, you can select that server because we're going to need to store data on the database. So the one we're going to go with is the default, which is the Windows internal database, and we're going to click Next. On this screen, we want to select a method to provision the servers. There are 2 methods. One is a manual method. If you use the manual method, you're going to have to manually create security groups and network shares and firewall rules. If you use group policy, then a policy object is going to be created for you in group policy management. So IPAM will automatically configure the settings on the managed servers by adding the server to the appropriate group policy objects. Here we have to enter the GOP prefix name, and we're going to enter IPAM as the prefix name. We're going to click on Next. And once we have done that, the wizard should make the following changes. And these settings will be applied to managed servers using the following GPOs: IPAM DHCP, DNS, and IPAM DCMPS for domain controllers and MPS servers. We want to click on Apply for these settings to go through. So we're going to click on Apply. And we can see that the provisioning is in progress. And when it is completed, when it has completed, we actually want to open group policy to see if the group policy objects are there. We can also do this provisioning with a PowerShell command if we chose to do so. And we're waiting for the completion of the provisioning in progress. If you try to provision the servers, using the console here and it doesn't work, you can always run the PowerShell command. Here we see that the provisioning is completed successfully, and these GPOs, we're actually going to go into the group policy and see if these are created. So let's click on close. We now want to go into group management to see if those GPOs exist. So we expand group policy management, expand the server, and here we can see that we have IPAM DCMPS, IPAM DHCP, and IPAM DNS. And those are the links to the policies. Let's open Group Policy Objects, and we can see the three policies here again: IPAM DCMPS, IPAM DHCP, IPAM DNS. So we're going to close the Group Policy Management, and we want to go back to IPAM. Now we want to configure server discovery. So we click on Configure Server Discovery, and we should find the domain by we're going to click on the down arrow, and we see that we have the domain here already. It's selected. Domain controller, DHCP server, and DNS server are the roles that we want to select. So we want to say OK at this point. Then we want to click on Start Server Discovery. And we see here that we're waiting for the task to complete. If we want, we can go click on More, so we can see some more detail. And we see that it's complete, so we can close the task details box. Then we want to go to number 5, which would allow us to select or add servers to manage. And at this point, if we see that the servers are blocked, what we need to do here is to right click, click on Edit Server, click the down arrow, and click on Managed. For number 6, we want to click on Retrieve Data from Managed Servers, and when we run this, by clicking Retrieve Data from Managed Servers, we're going to see that all IPAM data collection tasks will be run. Let's take a look at the configuration summary. We have some security groups that are created in IPAM. The IPAM users group, and the members of this group can view all information in server inventory, IP address space, and the monitor and manage view of the IPAM console. Anybody added to this group can also view IPAM and DHCP operational events on the event catalog, but they will not be able to view IP address tracking information. And then we have another security group called IPAM MSN Administrators. And anyone who is a member of this group will be able to perform IPAM common management tasks as well as monitor and manage tasks. Another security group that will be created is the IPAM ASM Administrators. And members of this group will have the same privileges that IPAM users have, but they can also perform IPAM common management tasks as well as IP address space tasks. Then you have your IPAM IP Audit Administrators group, And members of this group have IPAM user privileges also, and they can perform common management tasks and view IP address tracking information. And the last security group we have here is the IP administrators. And these members have the privilege to view all IPAM data and also perform all IPAM tasks.